Sigma males are quiet, focused, and independent. They don't need attention. They don't follow crowds. They walk their own path. Most of the time, they live calmly, without bothering anyone. But when life pushes too hard, when people cross lines, something shifts. A Sigma male enters what some call his villain origin story. Now, this doesn't mean he turns evil. It means he changes. He stops giving chances. He stops explaining. He stops hoping people will understand. Instead, he sharpens his mind, protects his space, and builds himself into someone nobody can shake again. This version of the Sigma male is colder, smarter, stronger. He still follows a code, but he's done playing nice. He becomes more focused, more distant, and much more powerful. You can't manipulate him anymore. You can't confuse him. You can't get close unless he lets you. He may have been quiet before, but now that silence feels dangerous. This transformation doesn't happen overnight. It happens over time through pain, betrayal, disappointment, and pressure. It begins when the Sigma male is pushed past his breaking point. Not by one event, but by many. Little cuts, broken trust, constant disrespect. At some point he decides enough. Once that shift happens, everything changes. His energy, his goals, his attitude. The person he was before is still there, but he's buried under a tougher, sharper version of himself. People who used to know him start saying, "He's changed." And they're right. This video breaks down 6 clear things that happen when a Sigma male enters his villain arc. These are not guesses. These are patterns, real behaviors Sigma males show when the world pushes them too far. If you've ever seen someone become colder, sharper, and more focused after being treated unfairly, you may have watched this shift happen. If you are a Sigma male who's feeling this change inside you, this will help you understand what's really going on. Let's look at thing number 1. What happens first when a Sigma male starts transforming? Thing number 1. Emotional detachment. When a Sigma male hits his limit, the first thing to shut down is his emotional response. He stops reacting the way people expect. He no longer gets excited. He no longer gets angry out loud. He becomes emotionally still, and that stillness changes everything. Emotional detachment is not the same as not feeling. Sigma males still feel deeply. But when they start detaching, they pull those emotions inward. They keep them hidden. They process everything alone. You won't see him explode. You won't see him beg. You won't see him cry. You'll just see a quiet shift, a colder tone, a distant look, and silence where there used to be words. This detachment doesn't happen because he doesn't care. It happens because he's cared too much for too long. He gave people chances. He gave situations time. He tried to stay calm, stay respectful, stay fair. But nothing changed. So now he's done showing feelings. It often starts small. He replies slower. He avoids eye contact. He cancels plans. Then he stops explaining himself, stops responding to emotional bait, stops defending his choices. People start to notice, but they can't figure out why he seems different. It's because he's detaching from everyone and everything that used to pull on his emotions. This is dangerous for anyone trying to control him. When a Sigma male becomes emotionally detached, you lose all leverage. Guilt doesn't work. Drama doesn't work. Begging doesn't work. He's past that now. His voice becomes steady. His eyes look through you. His words are few but sharp. He speaks only when needed and never for your comfort. This emotional shift protects him. It gives him space to think clearly. Feelings can cloud judgment, and he knows it. So now he makes choices based on logic and facts, not emotions, not loyalty, not pressure. Even in relationships, this detachment shows. He stops arguing, stops chasing, stops caring about fixing things. If something is broken, he lets it stay broken. He's not trying to save anything anymore. He's saving himself. People close to him may feel shocked. They remember the kind version, the one who listened, the one who cared. But now that version is gone, replaced by someone who feels nothing on the outside, even if he's still hurting on the inside. This doesn't mean he becomes cruel. He's not out for revenge, not yet. He's just stepping away from feelings that used to trap him. He's building distance. And that distance gives him power. At this stage, most people don't even know he's entered a new phase. They just think he's different, quieter, colder. But inside he's making moves, planning his next steps, creating a new mindset. And that starts with emotional detachment. It's the first step in his transformation. The beginning of the villain arc. He's not here to react anymore. He's here to act with full control. Thing number 2, strategic isolation. Once emotional detachment sets in, the Sigma male begins to pull away. But he doesn't disappear randomly. He isolates himself with a plan. He cuts out noise. He cuts out drama. He cuts out people who drain him. This is strategic isolation, and it marks a serious shift in his mindset. He starts saying no more often. He stops replying to messages. He avoids crowds. He turns off distractions. It's not depression, it's discipline. He's not running from the world. He's stepping away to rebuild. In this space, he starts thinking clearer. He begins analyzing what went wrong, what he allowed, what he ignored, and how he got pushed too far. He writes. He reads. He listens. He doesn't waste this time. He uses it to learn, grow, and reset. This kind of isolation scares people, not because he's gone, but because they don't know what he's doing while he's gone. Sigma males don't post updates. They don't explain their moves. They disappear in silence, and that silence feels heavy. But this is how they heal. It's how they transform. In the quiet, they find the truth. They remember their goals. They regain their strength. And most of all, they plan. Strategic isolation is not about cutting everyone off. It's about removing the wrong ones to make space for the right energy. He starts to see clearly who added value and who only took from him. During this time, he may change his habits. He may hit the gym harder, focus more on his money, study something new, work on skills, fix his sleep, improve his mindset. All of it happens in the dark, away from judgment, noise, and fake support. This quiet rebuild makes him sharper, stronger. He's not wasting energy on things that don't matter. He's moving with purpose again. People who used to know him may try to reach out, but unless they're aligned with his new mindset, they'll be met with silence or distance. He's not playing polite anymore. He's being efficient, focused. And when he finally returns, he's different. You can feel it. He's leaner, smarter, and more focused. That glow-up didn't happen overnight. It happened during isolation. This step is key in the villain arc. It's not about revenge, it's about transformation. And it happens far from the spotlight. Thing number 3, heightened analytical thinking. After emotional detachment and isolation, the Sigma male's mind becomes sharper than ever. This is when his thinking starts to change, not just in speed, but in depth. His focus becomes stronger. His attention to detail increases. His ability to see through lies, patterns, and intentions reaches a new level. This phase is where the Sigma male moves from emotion to pure logic. He starts analyzing everything around him with full clarity. Who added value? Who wasted his time? What patterns did he ignore in the past? What weaknesses does he need to fix? Every question becomes a mission to solve. He no longer trusts words, he watches actions. He doesn't believe promises, he waits for proof. He studies people with quiet eyes. He listens more than he speaks, and every silence becomes a tool. He's not just watching. He's learning. Sigma males have always been thinkers. But during their villain origin story, their thinking goes deeper. Now it's personal. Now it's survival. He's not just figuring things out, he's preparing. Preparing for what's next, and making sure he never gets blindsided again. He starts breaking down situations with strategy. Instead of asking, "Why did this happen to me?" he asks, "How did I let this happen, and how do I make sure it never does again?" That shift in mindset gives him control. This kind of thinking turns him into a strategist. He sees patterns others miss. He understands cause and effect faster. He spots motives quickly. He knows when someone's faking, lying, or trying to use him, because he's done being blind to it. This mindset also affects how he uses his time. Every moment becomes a calculation. Who deserves it? What's the return? What's the risk? He no longer gives hours to people or habits that bring no value. He becomes efficient and harder to reach. This sharp focus shows up in his work too. Whether it's business, fitness, or creativity, he stops multitasking and starts mastering. One goal at a time, one step at a time. He's not chasing everything, he's building something that lasts. He also becomes more curious. He reads more, learns faster, studies topics that improve his mental strength. This isn't just self-help, it's self-arming. He's getting ready for whatever comes next, and knowledge is his weapon. People who talk to him during this time may feel the change. He's not the same. His words are more precise. His questions are sharper. His eyes see more than before. He's not wasting time on shallow talk or emotional bait. He's focused on facts, results, and truth. And if someone tries to fool him now, it won't work. His mind is trained to catch it. He may not say anything, but he notices. And once he notices, you're already losing access to him. That's why this phase is so important. Heightened analytical thinking is what keeps him from falling again. It's what protects him. It's what gives him the edge. In this stage of the villain arc, the Sigma male becomes a quiet tactician. He doesn't need help. He doesn't need approval. He just needs time, space, and the right plan, and he's building it every day. Thing number 4, emergence of a personal code. At some point during the Sigma male's transformation, he reaches a place where he sets new rules for his life. Not society's rules, not someone else's checklist, his own personal code. This code becomes his guide, his shield, his standard for how he moves through the world from now on. This isn't about being perfect. It's about being clear. The Sigma male starts asking, what will I allow? What will I never allow again? What are my limits? Those answers become his law. He writes it in his mind, sometimes even on paper. Boundaries, values, rules for love, rules for loyalty, rules for peace. He doesn't just think them, he lives them. This personal code may come from pain. It may come from betrayal. But it's not built out of fear, it's built from power. It's how he takes back control. Once this code is set, everything changes. His circle gets smaller. His focus gets tighter. He stops letting people drain him. He stops saying yes to things that don't align. His life becomes simpler but stronger. He also becomes less flexible with nonsense. The old him might have given chances, might have explained his side, might have ignored red flags. Not anymore. The new version doesn't play with disrespect. The moment someone crosses a line, he walks. This doesn't mean he's harsh. He's fair. He just doesn't let emotions bend his standards. He doesn't make excuses for people. He lets his code lead. This also means he starts attracting better people, because people who respect themselves naturally attract those who do the same. His energy becomes clean, strong, and focused. Fake people fall away. Real ones take notice. The code also brings peace. He no longer second-guesses himself. If a situation doesn't fit, he moves on. If someone tries to argue, he doesn't engage. His code gives him clarity, and that clarity gives him power. In love, this code becomes even more important. He no longer dates for fun or ego. He looks for connection that fits his values. Loyalty, honesty, space, trust. If it's not there, he won't stay. Not because he's cold, but because he knows what peace costs, and he's not trading it again. This shift can feel intense to people around him. They say he's become rigid, maybe even heartless. But they don't see what it took to build that code. They don't see the pain that made it necessary. Sigma males aren't interested in revenge. They're interested in order. And their personal code becomes the quiet order they follow every day. It's not about controlling others. It's about controlling themselves. And that's why this is one of the most powerful stages of their transformation. Thing number 5. Calculated retaliation. Sigma males don't like conflict. They avoid drama. They'd rather walk away than start something. But when they're pushed too far, and when someone crosses a serious line, they don't explode. They respond with something more powerful. Calculated retaliation. This isn't loud. It's not messy. It's not emotional. It's planned. It's sharp. And it's almost always permanent. Calculated retaliation doesn't come from anger. It comes from clarity. When the Sigma male has fully detached, isolated, analyzed, and written his code, he doesn't act out of pain. He acts with purpose. He might cut off the person completely, with no warning, no closure, just silence. He might build something that makes him stronger, more visible, and more respected, just to show them he never needed them. He might expose a truth at the right time, not to hurt, but to reveal. He doesn't waste time on shouting matches or revenge games. His retaliation is simple: prove them wrong through action. Succeed, elevate, rise without them. That hurts more than any insult ever could. Sometimes his retaliation is emotional. He withholds access, stops responding, removes his energy. That loss feels heavy, especially for people who once had his loyalty. Once it's gone, they realize what they lost. But by then it's too late. Other times his retaliation is strategic. He finds smarter ways to set the record straight. He corrects lies with facts. He corrects disrespect with distance. He corrects betrayal by never giving another chance. He might help others behind the scenes. He might connect someone to an opportunity that used to belong to the person who wronged him. He moves pieces, but never talks about it. This behavior can feel cold to others. But to Sigma males, it's clean. It's logical. They don't believe in wasting energy on chaos. If something or someone needs to be removed, they handle it with precision, and they move on. They don't seek revenge for attention. They do it for balance. To remind the world that they're not to be pushed, tricked, or underestimated. Once the retaliation is complete, they say nothing. They don't brag. They don't post quotes. They just disappear back into their calm, private world. This is when others start saying, "He changed." But the truth is, he didn't change. He adapted. He evolved. And the version of him that remains is smarter, sharper, and impossible to fool twice. That's calculated retaliation. One of the final steps in the Sigma male's villain origin story. Thing number 6. Transformation into a lone strategist. By the final stage of his villain origin story, the Sigma male becomes someone entirely new. He is no longer just silent, detached, or focused. He becomes a lone strategist. Every move is planned. Every step is intentional. He's no longer reacting to life. He's running his own game, quietly and powerfully. This transformation doesn't look dramatic. It looks smooth, almost invisible. But it's deep. He no longer explains himself to anyone. He no longer shares his plans. He works in silence. He builds in silence. And when it's done, people are shocked by how far he's come. The Sigma male at this stage trusts only himself. That doesn't mean he hates others. It means he understands the risk of giving too much to the wrong people. So he builds a system where he doesn't need much from anyone. He becomes self-powered. His goals shift from survival to domination, not in a loud or aggressive way, but in a personal one. He wants control over his mind, his money, his time, and his space. He doesn't want to compete. He wants to escape the game altogether. And he's working every day to make that happen. He may start a business, build investments, learn high-level skills, or move far away from old environments. He doesn't talk about it. He doesn't ask for support. He just does the work hour by hour, day by day. His habits change too. He becomes disciplined. Wakes up earlier, eats better, works smarter. No wasted motion, no wasted time. Everything he does is connected to the future he's building. He also becomes emotionally harder to access. You can't guilt him. You can't sweet-talk him. You can't trick him. If you're not aligned with his goals, he won't waste a second on you. That cold filter protects him and makes his life cleaner. As a lone strategist, he now understands things differently. He sees life as a series of moves like a chessboard, and he plays carefully. He thinks 10 steps ahead. He doesn't rush. He watches. He waits. Then he strikes with perfect timing. This doesn't mean he loses heart. It means he stops giving his energy to things that don't deserve it. His love becomes more selective. His trust becomes rare. His peace becomes priceless. Some people say he's become distant, and they're right. But that distance is by design. He's not lost, he's focused. He's not broken, he's building. He's no longer trying to be understood. He's creating a life where he doesn't need to be. At this point, he doesn't even care if people misunderstand him. He knows what he's doing. He knows where he's going, and nothing can pull him off track. He's become a force, silent, private, and unstoppable. That's the final stage of the Sigma male's villain arc. He's not angry. He's not looking for payback. He's just built something stronger than revenge, his own path. The Sigma male's villain origin story isn't about becoming evil. It's about becoming unshakable. Life pushed him too far. People betrayed him, underestimated him, or tried to control him. But instead of falling apart, he transformed. He let go of old emotions. He cut off distractions. He trained his mind. He sharpened his focus. He built a code. And when it was time, he moved with purpose. Not out of rage, but out of clarity. He doesn't need revenge anymore. He doesn't need to prove anything. He simply becomes someone who cannot be broken the same way twice. This journey is quiet. It's internal. Most people never see it happening. They only notice once the Sigma male reappears, stronger, smarter, and more distant. He doesn't ask for anything now. He builds everything himself. If you're watching this and seeing yourself in these stages, understand this. You're not going crazy. You're evolving. This is what happens when a man finally decides to stop being used, ignored, or controlled. It's not darkness, it's power. But remember, the Sigma male's villain arc isn't about hurting others. It's about creating peace so strong that no one can take it away again. That's the transformation. That's the rise. And that's what happens when a Sigma male reaches his breaking point and chooses to rise from